video that I wanted to do for quite some time now. Waiting for the mileage on a GLE 350 to get up there a little bit. Have a couple years in the car before I change the in-cabin filters. Now, yes, I did say filters because on this particular model, and along with a few others, and I'll list them on the page here and down below, and I'll mention them also. But unlike like 90% of the cars out there, this particular model has two in-cabin filters. One is a paper element paper filter, right? That's the pre-filter that's in the engine compartment, right? And it's just a paper filter, it's not a carbon filter, it's pleated. And then inside the car is where you have the carbon activated filter that's underneath the glove box. Goes in one way. It's a little bit on the tough side to replace. I mean, it could have been easier if they planned it a little bit better, but regardless, it's not too bad. It's probably 10 minutes, 15 minutes of your time. A couple screws that you have to loosen up so you can get into that area, maybe loosen up the carpet in one little spot so that you can access it. And I'll show it all as we go through it. This is the first time I'm doing the filter replacement on this car. I did do a little homework to kind of just try to figure out where everything is. But let's go through this together rather than wasting too much time. Now, I got this particular filter kit from Amazon. It's a company called OI Filio. I think it's a Chinese company that manufactures these for OEM products. They sell a whole bunch of different types of filters for different cars. This kit in particular fits the 2020 to 2023 GLE 350. It does fit the GLE 450, GLE 53 AMG, the 63S AMG, the GLE 580, the GLS 450, the GLS 580, the GLS 63 AMG, and even the maybach GLS 600. So all of those cars have this exact filter kit. It's got a pre-filter in the engine compartment, like I said, and then which is just a pleated paper filter. To take out, like, you know, dust particles and just like kind of like the big elements. And then inside the car you have the carbon filter. So way back when, probably a year ago, I went to order these filters on partsgeek.com, and when you looked it up, it showed multiple filter types, but I wasn't really sure which one to order. So you know, I'm kind of helping you guys out to kind of figure out that your car may have two air filters, a pre-filter and a carbon filter inside the car. So just kind of keep that in mind. So if you do try to shop around and you notice that there's a couple different filters out there, that's probably why. So keep that in mind when you go through this. So let's dive into this. Let's open up the hood and let's kind of take a peek at where the pre-filter is. All right, so what I'm going to try to show you is that in this area right in here, this is the passenger side of the car. In this area underneath this shroud is where the pre-filter, I believe, is. So in order to get to it, there's a couple locks. I'm going to see if I can bring the camera in a little closer. So you see these like little locks? I'll shine the light on it. So those little locks, you just basically turn them counterclockwise to unlock them. Yeah, you see the unlock and the lock symbol right there. So whatever position is required, you're just basically setting that up to unlock it so you can kind of remove this whole plastic shroud area. So it's pretty simple. So basically I'm just gonna turn it until I feel that it's unlocked. Right in there, that's unlocked. That's unlocked. And I believe all you need to do is lift, we'll remove the rubber gasket here. I believe just lift this up and out of the way. Okay, yeah, so in behind here, I think you'll see it better when I shine the light on it. Inside this little compartment here, it looks like you depress the top, push it out. Right, this thing is kind of in the way. Of course, there's a wiring harness like right in the way. That's pretty dumb. And then you can remove. Let's see if we can kind of detach this from. Yeah. You can detach this. You have to be a little careful because there's like little plastic tabs here that hold it in place. There you go. So you can kind of see how that's set up, right? So look at that closely. So what I was doing is I was pulling on one of the tabs and pushing out on one of the tabs to release this entire thing. So get that out of the way, that cover, and then now we have full access to the pre-filter, which is again, you know, just a pleated filter, and it's paper. There's no carbon element to it. So that's pretty straightforward. So yeah, everything looks pretty clean in here. And that's the condition of the pre-filter. So yeah, it is a little bit dirty. I'm gonna pull the other one out so we can kind of compare it side by side. Actually, I'll bring you to the workbench. So, old and new. And at first I thought they were different sizes, but they're not. There's this little bit of a lip here that's compressed when you place it back into the car. So let's take the old one out. Again, just remember the airflow and how that's set up. Pretty sure we lifted it up this way. So airflow on here is this way, up, right, is airflow. So same thing on this one, airflow is up, right? So I'm gonna kind of go back and rewind. So really pay attention, and I was like kind of too quick with that, but pay attention to where the airflow is on the old element, paper filter, so you know exactly when you put in the new one where everything's supposed to lay out. So I'm gonna rewind the videotape a little bit, kind of remind myself where I was with that, and then place it back into position. All right, so I kind of reminded myself of how this was set up. So airflow is going up. The pleats are on the top side. That's how I pulled it out. So we're just gonna place this back into here, right? And that filter, that pre-filter is back into position. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put the bottom portion of this cover right here, these bottom clips, back onto the rails, right? There's like plastic rails on the bottom. You're gonna place that back into position and they'll clip into place. So now they're all clipped into place, right? And the doors can open and close if it wasn't for that freaking wire harness. And then you're just pushing the top portion back into position so that these little clips up here clip back into place. So again, you know, to release it, you're pressing down and then out on both sides, and then you're lifting the entire thing up. But again, be very careful because these little plastic pieces, right? There's two on either side of the plastic rail are holding that cover back into place. All right, so that's back into position. You have a new filter in there. Now we just have to set this back down, lock these into place, right? That's locked. All right, good. And now we're just gonna place the rubber gasket that wraps around the entire thing back into position. I'm using a different light here too. I'll put a description down below, but this is a really nice light. It's an Energizer light. It runs on 4 AA batteries. So the pre-filter is complete. Now what we're gonna do is we're gonna go inside the passenger side underneath the glove box, and that's where we'll find the carbon filter, the second filter of the car. So let's open up the door, let's get in there and see what we can do. All right, I'm gonna bring you guys in underneath the glove box so you can see what I'm seeing. I'm gonna lay this down facing up, so hopefully you can get a good perspective. And I'm gonna have the light down there too, so we can take a look. Plus the car has its own light, so let's see. All right, so I hope you can see what I'm seeing. So basically what I'm looking for are any like torque screws or anything like that to open up this little glove box area. And the only thing I really see offhand is this right here. There's like a little, you know, pushing grommet, you know, where you can kind of like pull on the center of it and then the whole thing comes out. And I'm wondering if that, along with a couple clips here and there, just like, you know, positioning clips, hold this thing into place. So I'm gonna remove that and I'm gonna see if this thing drops, right? So I'm gonna remove this piece right here by pulling out the center pin with a couple small screwdrivers and then pull the whole thing out and see if this thing drops.
small little screwdriver. I'm pulling this out. I'm pulling the center portion of this pin out from the car. Like that, and then the whole thing comes out. That's what that looks like right there. So hopefully you can see that. Let's see, I'll bring it to the light. See that? So that pulls out. So it's like a compression fitting. That's all that is. All right, so I'm gonna give props to someone that actually did this and recorded it, because I had to actually YouTube it, so to figure out how to do this, because I didn't want to break anything. But basically what you're doing is you're gonna be pulling down. So you're placing your finger into one of these holes and you're pulling down on one side, and there's a compression fitting here, and there's one on the driver's side area, like back in here. So you're pulling this and then pulling it down. But I would start with the right hand side first and then work to the left hand side. But what I'll do is I'll link the gentleman's YouTube video in mine, so that you can kind of follow his instructions, because he does a really good job of kind of walking you through it. And so rather than duplicating it, I want to give props to him since he helped me. And I'm going to do this and open this area up so that we kind of expose it. All right, so I want to show you the bottom portion here. So basically you're see that little grommet there at the end? That's where the push pin was, in the middle. And then on either side, there's like a little bit of a compression fitting here and here. Now, you gotta be very careful. Like I said, pull down on the right-hand side first, and then that'll kind of loosen up the left-hand side and allow you to kind of pull the whole thing out. And then in the middle where the light is, there's like a little connector that supports that light that's underneath. And then this piece right here is when you're placing it back. You see that little piece right there? That's what you're gonna hang, and then you're gonna push everything back into position. So that's how that works. So we're gonna set that aside, and we're gonna open up and look at where the filter is. So you'll see back in here, and again, you know, like, I'm not sure why they do this, but I don't know why it needs to be this difficult. It doesn't really need to be this difficult, but anywho, I'm trying to set this up so you can see it. There's like these little pieces right here that you can turn. You see them right there? Now you're going to turn these so you can expose the filter. See, you get that out of the way. And then this one also, get that out of the way. And this will drop. Okay, but you got to get the carpet out of the way too. So like for instance, hold on. All right, so I'm trying to do it this way. I actually took the camera off of, see these little things right here. You're gonna turn these over, and then you're gonna drop this. But you see how the carpet is in the way here? So you're gonna have to pull on this carpet, get it out of the way. So, I mean, if this was like over an inch, then you wouldn't have to deal with that. So, probably an afterthought. They didn't even think about it. They should have put like a little bit more of an access panel here or something, so you can kind of remove this easier. But that's the issue that you're gonna run into. So once we do that, I'm gonna take that out, and then we're gonna change out the filter. You can kind of see the filter kind of squeaking through right over here. Pay attention to the airflow, pay attention to the positioning of the filter, because that's how you're going to place it back. All right, now you can see that this angular piece right here, the corner, is on the right hand side, right upper side. Right, so you're going to follow the same thing back into position. And when you're placing this back, you're going to have to pull the carpeting down, so you can align the tail end of this back on the car, lift up, and then click it back into position. So this hook right here, the one I showed you earlier, right here, connects to this piece. I think it's plastic, I'm not really quite sure, but it hangs on that. So you got to place that into position first and then lift up the entire piece. But don't forget to reconnect the wiring harness to the light fixture that's right there. And then everything can just pop back into place. You put the little rivet, plastic rivet push pin back into position, and then you're good to go.
All right, conclusions. Was it easy to do? Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it took 40 minutes and I recorded the whole thing, and I'm gonna be posting this up for you guys. You can kind of learn from my experiences, and hopefully you can do this easily for yourself. Would I ever think to have Mercedes Benz do this for me? Hell no. They're probably gonna charge you like 400 bucks with the parts to do something like this that you could do. I think I paid $30, $40 for the filters. It was the filter kit, the entire thing, and then 45 minutes of my time. So figure a half hour without videotaping, you could do the entire thing yourself. So hell no, I would never go to Mercedes Benz to do this. Buy the filters online, see if this company has your kit for your car. This kind of fits a broad range of cars. But remember, I don't know if every single Mercedes Benz has dual filters, a pre-filter and a carbon filter, but it's something to check, something to think about when you're looking for your own personal cars. So take the time, do it yourself, and good luck. See you on the next one.